Morning folks, Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. What I want to do today is I want to set up a prototype of a tarp tent that I've been working on with tent smiths. Peter over there has been working really close with me to develop a tarp tent that would be a one-man shelter that you could actually close all the way around you if you wanted to, or you could use it in a tarp configuration if you'd rather do that. But it's going to be ultra light and it's going to be fairly small. It's made out of a light oilcloth canvas, Australian type oilcloth. The inside of the tent should be, and I have not set this up yet, first time I'm seeing it, it's the first time you're going to see it, should be about 5 feet wide and 7 feet long, and there should be a 4-foot peak, and it should have 2 doors on the front. Peter sent me some directions on how to set this thing up, and he sent it to me. It weighs 2.5 pounds. The total weight of this system is 2.5 pounds. That's without any stake or ropes. I'm going to use ABS plastic stakes because they don't weigh anything, and I don't have to make stakes. And I got a couple pieces of paracord in case we need some rope. But I thought I'd figure a spot right out here in the woods, and we'd set this thing up. And again, this is not a review. This is a prototype. This product is not, again, this product is not currently available. This is a prototype. We're going to make improvements to the design that we need to make, if any. Then we're going to figure out what it costs him to make the tent, and we're going to figure out what the price is going to be. It will be called the Pathfinder Scout Tent. We have to get to that point after we go through prototype and research and development. What I'm trying to do with you guys now is give you guys a first look at the prototyping and a little bit of input on the research and development. Now, there's no floor in this tent. There's not meant to be a floor in this tent. If you put a floor in a tent, you're just asking for that tent to rot, number one, because a lot of people fold tents up and they think they're dry because the top of the tent is dry, but the floor's not. And that causes mold and mildew, and you don't want that. It also adds unnecessary weight to your tent because you can always use your emergency space blanket or your bivvy, your Gore-Tex bivvy, or your watch coat. If you carry an oilcloth watch coat or something like that, all of those things can be used for ground cloths inside the shelter, and you don't need a floor. We're not trying to create a tent. We're trying to create some type of enclosed sheltering system that employs a tarp. Like I said, this thing only weighs 2.5 pounds. Stay with me and we'll get this thing out, guys. Okay, guys, so I have cut a 4-foot stick. I haven't really done anything to dress it up at all. It's just square cut off with any stragglers cut off of it out of hardwood. Again, I brought 6 or 7 stakes with me because I wasn't sure how many I was going to need. And I brought one like 20-foot length of paracord. The tent came in a white canvas cloth sack with a draw cinch strap on it. Very, very nice setup to put in the bottom of your pack. It'll hold stakes and ropes and things like that as well if you were to add them in very easily. Also gives you just another bag that you can collect tinder, food, what have you in. So here is the shelter, and it's really not folded up as tight as it could be. I could fold it smaller than this myself. But let's lay this thing out. I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff on the white so I don't lose it in these leaves. Just set it off to the side for a minute with the pole and my axe, and then we'll see where we're at here. Get this cover off my axe, set it beside the tree here. Alright, let's see what we got. See if we got what I envisioned here. It's got really nice toggles on it, I can see already. Those must be for the door. Really nice wooden toggles that are sewn in. Wow, that's beauty. Quality work right there. Quality. Okay, so those are the wings. Now it also has a loop in the top right here so that you can go with a no-pole design if you desire. I like that really well too. We talked about that. I wanted this thing to be able to be set up in multiple ways so that you could go from one pole to no pole. So, from what I gathered from Peter and the instructions that he gave me, he said to stake the corners out in the back first. So let's just shove a couple stakes in the ground real fast here to hold that in place. Looks like we're going to scoot over. I didn't hardly pick a wide enough area for this thing. We might turn it a little bit to get what we want. I like that. Now there are a couple more a couple more tie-outs back here in the back. There's actually 3 more tie-outs back here in the back. One in the center and one center on each side. I see lots of tie-out points on the top as well. or like ridge lines and things like that, or guy lines. So far, I'm liking what I see. All right, so we got 2 stakes in. Let's go ahead and put 3 in. Just shove a 3rd one in back here in the back to hold this thing where we want it. Just like this. We won't pound them in yet. And then what he was saying is that I should probably just bring these doors forward to the middle. And I'm assuming if this is the center, then these doors should be brought together like this at the center. Overlapped a little bit and pull tight like this. So I'm going to go ahead and stake those in. And for now I'm going to use 2 separate stakes on that just to make adjustments here in a minute. So I'll just shove 2 quick stakes in the ground right here and see where we're at here. So now you can see I've got that double staked in the front, staked in the back. Now, it looks to me like we can go ahead and stake these 2 sides out real fast. And we've got plenty of places to stake in here, it looks like. I'm going to pull this out pretty even and put a stake in it. Pull the other side out pretty even and put a stake in it. And we still got 2 more staking points here as well. And here. And here. There's all kinds of places to put stakes in this thing to set it up different ways if you wanted to. Kind of give you guys the best view I can here. Now, if I take my 4-foot pole, I'm betting that this thing comes up here just like this, and there's a pocket in there, and I don't quite have it where I need it, so I'm going to pull it up as tight as it'll go, just like that. Then I can restake this front as needed, like this. Loosen it up just a little bit maybe. Let's do this. Let's do this one better. The way this is set up now, you should be able to set this up and not have to use any guy lines at all if you don't want to. And it looks like that would work. Let me take one of these doors off and put it off to the side like that. And that would be, and again, I'm only using just a very few stakes there. I've got 1 in each of the corners really, and I've got 1 here, 2 in the front to hold the doors. Well, actually 1 right here to hold this door open. And it's pretty roomy on the inside from what I see so far. It's a pyramid type configuration. So you'll have an alcove out here in the front on the inside. And again, it's 4 feet high at the front. And you'll have to tighten this up, pull everything nice and tight. Probably if you did these doors up with these toggles, that's really nice. Man, he outdid himself with that. That's beautiful there. I would imagine if you did these toggles up and then pull the sides out taut, it would make for a tighter tent. Obviously, you've got lots more staking points that you could stake this thing up if you wanted to go that route. And these toggles are new, so they're a little bit tight. They'll loosen up over time. It's good that they're a little tight to get in there now, because when they do shrink up or loosen up, you don't want to have to mess with that and be loose. Better to be tight now and loosen up a little bit over time. Now I think with that tightened everything up quite a bit. I'm going to walk around my axe and pull everything tighter on the corners and see what that buys us, and then we'll look at it a little closer. Okay, I'm going to back this camera up a little bit. See if I can get you a full view. All right, there we go. Now, again, I've only got the minimum amount of stakes in here because I've only got 1, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 stakes in it right now. 1 each corner, 1 in the center of the back, 1 holding the door down. if you don't have the door staked down, you're going to have probably an eyelet, a piece of rope or guy line pulling that pole forward. No big deal. You could pull it right to the length of the door if you wanted to and not have a stake there. Then you could have both doors open. If you tied it from the top, where that tie-out loop is, here, and ran that over a branch of a tree, then you wouldn't have to worry about the doors either. But they're going to flop down in front if you don't have them staked out. Now you've got staking points. You've got 3 staking points along the door. You've got 2 more on every side of this tarp. You've got tie-outs on every pleat of this tarp. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tie-outs that you could use to pull this thing out anywhere you wanted to use for ridge lines if you were using this thing for just a straight tarp. But what it's meant to be is an ultra lightweight scouting type tent that you can use in 4 seasons if you need to. That's what it's meant for. Okay guys, I'm going to go off tripod here for a minute. I've got the one side of the door open and flapped over the outside. Just so you can see, the footprint is huge on the inside of this thing. With that 4-foot pole, and again, you don't have to have the pole. If you tie it out from the rooftop, there's a loop. And there is a pocket inside for the pole to go into, so you're not stressing anything out right there. This is a very, very well thought out design. And I don't think there's any possible way, 2.5 pounds for oilcloth with a tent with this kind of a footprint, I don't see how you could possibly beat that. And you know, Peter's prices are pretty dang good, especially for oilcloth compared to a lot of other companies. So I'm confident that if we finalize this, and when we get it finalized, and right now I don't see too many things wrong with it. In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'd use it tomorrow. But there may be some suggestions that Peter has now that he's put it together that will make it a little more streamlined or make it easier to process. I don't know. I'm going to talk to him next week when I get back from West Virginia. But this is a pretty dang nice shelter. Let me get inside here for a minute. Kind of show you around as well. You can see that's all oilcloth. There's plenty of room in there. What I'm going to do is put this on the tripod. I'm going to lay down in there so you can see actually how big the footprint is from the inside. Okay, I figured the ground's a little bit wet, but we can deal with that. But there is more than enough room for me to lay down here, you know, and spread completely out. And there's plenty of room for my gear in here as well. This is meant to be a one-man shelter, and 2 would be really, really tight in here, you know, unless your wife was small, like mine, and a midget, and you could shove her in here beside you. But for the most part, for a scouting type shelter at 2.5 pounds that you're going to use in 3 seasons and try to keep the wind and things off of you, and you don't want an open face shelter or a plow point that still has an open face on it, man, I don't see how you could possibly beat this thing. This is a beautiful design. I am absolutely more than impressed. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever had the thing set up. Peter and I talked about it for a few days back and forth, actually a few weeks back and forth, tossed a couple designs back and forth, decided we were going to go with a pyramid style design. And I wanted something that was at least 5 foot by 7 foot on the inside. And I wanted something at least 4 foot high on the inside so that you could actually sit up inside the center of the tent if you wanted to without, you know, still be able to move around and do chores and things like that. Man, this thing is fantastic. Holy cow. I'm in love with this. You may never see me use a tarp again. Guys, I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School, and I appreciate you coming out here with me today. Just a quick setup of a prototype model scouting tent that I'm working on with Tent Smiths. Like I said, this is a prototype, and again, this is not available for sale. It will not be available for sale for probably a couple of months. We're in the process of R&D, making sure it's going to work. I got to get this thing out into the woods and sleep in it a few times before I'm just going to look at it and say, oh, this is great. Yeah, right now I think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I haven't slept in it yet. So let me get out in some weather with this thing, trial it, test it. Let me talk to Peter, see if he thinks there's improvements we need to make, and then we'll get this thing on the market. But I wanted you guys to be part of the R&D process and kind of get the first peek, if you will, at a prototype design. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I thank you for your views, your support. I thank you for everything you do for me, for my school, for my family, for my friends, affiliates, sponsors, and my business. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.